Hello everybody and welcome to the first of the Demon Forges reviews. This one particularly for the preview show that has just aired from Games Workshop. So this was the second of their preview shows that they originally had scheduled for the Adepticon event, which was unfortunately cancelled, and so they moved everything to the online format. So they had one last week where they previewed a load of different bits and pieces, and was pretty much the same kind of format this time round, previewing different things from different systems, different games, as well as different media outlets as well. So there's some quite interesting stuff there as well. So without ado, we'll basically start looking at stuff as they came up on the show, and let's just jump straight in. So the first big reveal of the day was the army box set for the new Age of Sigmar faction, the Lumineth Realm Lords, the new pointy elves as they like to call them. So this is a gathering of varying different units that have been previewed previously. So we've got some cavalry in there, we have the spearmen, and we also have what was revealed to be the Spirit of Eltharion, a special character for the particular army. It's essentially an inhabited ghostly suit of armor, which is pretty nice. The model is absolutely spectacular. How they managed to get that kind of hollow look to it is absolutely fantastic. So these have all been gathered together along with the limited edition army book, cards, tokens, special dice for the army as well, and they've all been packaged into one big box set, similar in style to the Sisters of Battle army box set that got released around about Christmas time. Very nice looking box set. Obviously, it's a great place to jump in if you are new to the army or you just want to start collecting something, which is pretty sweet. I think it's quite a nice little one. Obviously, we'll need to see what the price point's like, to see what value it's like, but usually these things are pretty good value. Yeah, I'd be very interested if it was an army that I was looking to pick up myself. So I can see people really enjoying this one. Hopefully, they'll have many more box sets than the actual Sisters of Battle had available to them, obviously with that being a limited release at the time. Next up in the reveals, we had a reveal for Bloodball. Rather than a full team, we had a Tree Man set of sculpts released for the Halfling team in particular. So it's two new plastic figures with varying different kind of styles in there. We've got a bit more of a heavily armoured style Tree Man, along with a kind of bare bones, bare branches, however you like to kind of call it, kind of sculpt in there. Really fun, really kind of characterful. There's some really nice little bits and pieces in there. I'm particularly a big fan of the squirrel that's on the bear model. I think it's really nice little characterful little touches. So a little bit of humour that's kind of in the Blood Bowl section, something that you probably wouldn't see in the main game of Age of Sigmar itself. Yeah, really nice little sculpts, these ones. Apparently, I'm not a massive Blood Bowl fan, but according to a lot of people and the game designers themselves, quite essential pieces of kit for the actual Halfling teams themselves, as they tend to be a little bit squishy. So these tend to be the harder hitting elements of that team themselves. Really nice, really kind of as I said, characterful. Hopefully won't be too highly priced. Hopefully it'll be something much more like the Armbot from Necromunda, where you got two models essentially for about £25, I believe it was. Yeah, really, really nice. So shame there wasn't any full teams kind of revealed, but we've had quite a slew of big releases for Blood Bowl teams-wise recently. So some little character stuff was quite nice to see. And from the violent pitches of the Blood Bowl world to the depths of Middle-earth. The next preview was a few bits and pieces for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. Foremost amongst that was the quest of the Ringbearer, a source book, which essentially details the journeys of Frodo Baggins from his hobbit hole in the Shire all the way through to the actual ultimate mission of dropping the One Ring into the fires of Mount Doom. So the book itself was containing 28 missions, all narrative based, following, like I said, Frodo along his journey, and from varying different points as well. So some of these you may have seen in other source books way back when, in the original Lord of the Rings source books and things like that in the past, and I'm sure that there'll be some new tidbits in there as well. We also saw two new characters as well, in the form of Amborn and Famling. I believe I pronounced those correctly. Tolkien names are always so interesting to pronounce. A pair of Rangers of Gondor, so especially special characters. They feature a little bit in the second book in the Two Towers, and in the film predominantly. So their sculpts have been done to their likenesses from the film, and we'll add a little bit of extra character to any Gondor armies in there as well. And then onto the war-torn battlefields of the 31st millennium in the Horus Heresy. We had 2 characters previewed. So both of them Legion Praetors, essentially chapter master equivalencies of the 40k universe, leaders for the legions themselves. One step below Primarchs, we had a power armored Praetor armed with a power sword and a plasma pistol, quite a nice looking pistol at that. And then we had his equivalency in Terminator armor, so hefting a giant flaming mace, which is quite cool. My favorite of the 2 would definitely be the power armored equivalency, just some of that character in the face, the weapon that he's having, the kind of overcharged, nasty looking plasma pistol is just really quite nice. I can see these basically getting some use in 40k armies as well as Dark Apostles and Chaos Space Marine armies. Are really nice. All those kind of Colchizian runes and everything etched into the surface of their armor, just adding that really nice little bit of detail, that little bit of character to them as well, really making them stand out as members of the Wordbearer Legion. Quite nice, I think, those ones. So some of my favourite kind of reveals of the day. So then on to one of the biggest reveals. We've seen this one previously, or one trailer previously. So this is part of their expanding media range, Games Workshop, part of their Storyforge department. We saw a second trailer for the Angels of Death, a new animated series coming out, focusing primarily on the Blood Angels. This trailer apparently showed a few clips from a kind of mid-season episode, a big spacefaring battle between the Blood Angel fleets and the Tyranid Hive fleets themselves. And wow, don't those Hive ships look utterly terrifying, like gigantic mutated swimming sharks swimming around in space, eating up whatever they can get their hands on. And you can probably see from the trailer, if anybody has watched the full-length trailer that is revealed, it's up on YouTube at the moment, it does not look like it's going particularly well for the Imperial Navy and the Blood Angels forces in this one. Lots of carnage being meted out, lots of ships being destroyed. It looks like a absolute bloodbath. We see some really nice kind of characters in there as well. A couple of Blood Angels. We've seen a Chaplain, Skullface Chaplain, really nice looking kind of cool guy. A captain in Terminator armor, by the looks of it, and a naval officer, female naval officer, looking quite stern, ordering to bring the behemoth that's floating around out there and destroying the rest of the fleet down. It does look really nice. One of the standout things of this one is the use of the color palette. Everything predominantly being grayscale, being just primarily dark, blacks, whites, greys, things like that. The only motes of actual colour being the Blood Angels themselves. Everything kind of standing out quite starkly in red. Just adds a really nice kind of interesting pop to the animation and really makes it stand out as something quite unique. Apparently they're going to be using something similar to like a haze descending on the screen whenever you see characters kind of descending into the actual red first, or the actual Black Rage, as they call it, as well, which was quite nice. We also saw a couple of previews as well for other series that are coming out from Storyforge. So what you'll see at the moment is a high definition render of quite a gored up Sister of Battle, so with some absolutely fantastic details in there. Gore slicked face, look like she's really been at it fighting as well. So really looking forward to what these are going to come out with as well in the future. We then had our second kind of preview of things to come for Age of Sigmar, their Games Workshop's flagship fantasy game. With the reveal of a new faction, a new battle tome coming in as well for the Sons of Behemoth. Now, this is it's been kind of hinted at, or there's been a lot of rumours circulating for a little while now about this army, and essentially it is going to be an entire army of giants, gargants as they like to brand them in Age of Sigmar. So if you like armies of big guys, big behemoths and all sorts of stuff, smashing things to pieces, a la knights in 40k, this is probably going to be the army for you. So we currently have sculpts for Ale Guzzler Gargants, which is one of the older sculpts from the original Warhammer game. So these will be translated into this particular army, and there's also hints at other stuff coming as well. If you watch the trailer, there are hints at other types of giants that will be coming as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a bit of a shame that it was only just a kind of a bit of a hint and a whatever have you at the actual battle tome itself, and a bit of the background for the army. No actual models previewed or anything like that as well, but I imagine that they're probably just going to be focusing on the elves at this point. So as soon as the elves get released and out onto the battlefield, we're probably going to see a lot more dropping for the giants. So really looking forward to this, and probably going to have to add a few of those to my ogres most definitely. So the final big reveal of the day was actually a couple of new miniatures, along with a 20th anniversary edition of a comic called Demon Refuge. If I'm pronouncing that right. Unfortunately, I never saw this first time round. I wasn't around in the hobby at that point when this was released, but I've seen it since in iterations when I worked at Games Workshop as well, just kind of hanging about on shelves and stuff. So essentially, we've got a couple of character sculpts, so actual characters from this comic realised in miniature form. We have a Sister of Battle and a Harley Quinn. So the Sister of Battle being Ethereal Stern, apparently quite the badass Sister of Battle, what they were kind of talking about on the live stream, along with a bodyguard type figure from the Harley Quinn, the Knight of Shadows, from what they've been talking about. So these two make up a duo of characters essentially, which kind of star in the comic. So going along with these releases, they've decided to kind of release them as part of the next big Psychic Awakening book. So I say next big Psychic Awakening, but we're still waiting on the next two coming out, which will be the War of the Spider and Engine War, which are the next ones coming up. So this is going to be the final one, the 9th book, Pariah. To be honest, a little bit disappointed with this one, just because of the way that they were hinting at it. And when everybody said Pariah, everybody kind of thought, or a lot of people in the community thought, that we were going to see a resurgence of the Necron Pariahs, so a unit that was in the very first original Necron codex, essentially blank individuals with no soul, that were kind of melded with Necron technology and became essentially like an anti-psyker unit. Very kind of cool, clean looking model, brandishing war scythes. For anybody that was around at that point, I think they agree that they were pretty sweet. So it would have been nice to have seen something like that return. Who knows, they may actually kind of pull a secret out of the bag and reveal this model or this kind of unit when the Psychic Awakening book gets a little bit closer. But for the moment, the way that we're kind of hinting at the live stream was that the Pariahs were really these two kind of characters, the Sister of Battle and those were the big reveals of the day. So my impressions, to be honest, I really wasn't that kind of blown away. I was expecting a little bit more. I know they're really pushing the elves as they're something quite new, something quite unique. Well, I'll say unique going back to the old world, but they're quite different from the elves that they've currently got in the system. I can see them trying to make that, but to be honest, we've kind of seen a lot of those recently. It was a bit disappointing that we didn't see anything from the actual Gargant models wise either. We just got a few hints at a bit of backstory. It would have been nice to see just maybe some like snippets, maybe like what they've been doing with Gazgul recently, where they've just been like showing a claw or a foot or something like that. Just a bit of a hint, just to kind of get you salivating a little bit. We didn't really see a great deal from 40k either. I know that obviously we've got the name confirmed for the next Psychic Awakening book, Pariah. I'm hoping that they haven't had a few missed opportunities in there. Hopefully we'll see a few quite interesting bits and pieces floating around, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was a bit of a hodgepodge, lackluster type thing. We didn't see a great deal on this reveal. Obviously the stuff from Storyforge is looking pretty cool. I'm looking very much forward to seeing some actual animations and some shows from set in the 40k universe, and we've been waiting a long while for that one. I'll be very interested to see what kind of format they're going to be releasing that on, whether it'll be on a dedicated channel, so how they'll do like payments wise, things like that. That's going to be quite an interesting one to see how it goes forward. They have revealed that this is only half of what they have in store for us, so there must have been a lot of stuff to get through at Adepticon. So they have promised that they're basically going to take a week off from next week and basically have a third big reveal show on the 18th of April, so a week on Saturday, same time, 2 o'clock. So hopefully we'll see some more interesting bits and pieces like that in there as well. So that's really what we had revealed today. There's my thoughts on everything as well, so I'm quite interested to see what you guys have to hear about everything as well. So please drop a comment below. If you've liked my little bit of ramblings on there as well, feel free to give us a like, subscribe, and we will see you guys future for more content. Thank you very much, guys.